Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom reviews. You see by the title below, this is on episode 12, the final and last episode of Mob Psycho 100. And how did it fare in my mind? Honestly, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was an incredible episode. I was wondering, what is Mob gonna do? You know, is he gonna go 100%, killer instinct this time and kill everyone? No, in the end, it's actually, Reagan is not really dead. He gets up, and it's actually when he slapped his face, I guess, and it turned out because of his words, he ended up passing his powers to Reagan for a while. Not just 100%, we got 1,000% gratitude for Reagan. Reagan is a true beast, dude. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I actually really enjoyed Reagan in this episode. Seeing him, first it was the guy with the sword just breaks it. Oh, is this a toy? Then the other guy, dude who makes the summons the monsters, everything, he just destroys it easily. Guy who can clone himself, he just slaps them all, like, oh, what is this, the new 3D image kind of thing? He literally thinks all of that, or I guess later on he figures out, oh, this is from his power. But it's funny just seeing the way he's talking, like, oh, you shouldn't be playing with toy swords at your age, or like, what is this, like I said, the 3D hologram kind of thing. And then, oh, what is this, bubbles throwing at him when the division leader was using his gravity black hole ball things to shoot at him, whatever it was. And Reagan just takes him out like nothing, thanks to, of course, obviously Mob's power. But it was pretty badass to see, to be honest. I loved seeing how Mob looks up to Reagan in so many ways, and how the 1,000% gratitude ended up making it so he could give his powers to Reagan, which I honestly never thought that would happen. I was like, when he first survived the sword attack at first, and then it hit him, and then he's like, what is this, and breaks it, I was like, holy crap, Reagan's a beast. And then of course you figure out why. He's still a beast. It's still cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed the episode for Reagan, especially. Literally, as it went down towards the last episodes, it was like mob, he's a beast. And these last two episodes, Reagan has literally just outshined them all, in my opinion, to be honest. But pretty much after that, it's literally it's funny how people were talking about 1,000% gratitude, and then some people were 1,000 in the forums talking about 1,000% lecture and depression kind of shit, because literally he just lectured the F out of all of them into submission, literally bringing them back into reality from what is this, toys, these shoulder pads, why do you need that, you don't need that. And he's just like, oh. And the sword guy giving his story about being lonely when he was younger, he had no parents, no nothing, and why he is the way he is. And Reagan's just gives him a face and don't give me that face, what do you mean? And he has this, the way they made his face, his facial expression with the whole drawing stencil kind of thing, including the other guy's face, was so hilarious. I was literally cracking up when Reagan was like, there was this one time in 4th grade, I forgot to tell my parents that it was sports day and I didn't have any food to eat. And I'm just like, what the hell? That's how I felt true loneliness. I'm like, you're an idiot. Reagan literally always somehow brings the comedic factor to these shows and these episodes. And not only did he give action in this one, but also a ton of comedy as well. That just literally had me just cracking up throughout the episode. But after that, of course, we see a little bit more old guy. Actually, the division leader ends up being an old guy, and he goes crazy, about to take them all out. Thankfully, Show, the kid that we saw before, comes out, beats him up like nothing. And we actually see at the end of the episode him talking to someone that I'm guessing is the leader of Claw, and it turns out that Show is actually his son. And he was disappointed by Mob, calling him a coward and everything, but also saw that Ritsu had that potential as well. So it's interesting to see that, I guess, later on in the future, we may see Show trying to, take Ritsu from them. I don't think he's going to try Mob, since he knows that Mob, how Mob thinks and everything, thinks of him as a coward. So it should be interesting if there is a season 2 to see how that ends up, folding out. But overall, after the whole battle goes on, after all of that stuff happens, everything goes nice. We have a nice closure episode in a way to see everyone, Dimple, I forgot to mention, appeared as well. He managed to, I guess, beat every single one of the spirits that was in that jar, and literally was like, "Oh, it's time for me to fight." And of course, there was nothing left to do. You lost. Everyone won already, and yeah, too bad. But of course, it's funny to see him with Reagan. Reagan's gonna have him help him and stuff like that. Reagan, even though he no longer has his like strong powers, obviously from Mob, he can still see things like, dimples. So that's pretty interesting to know. Like, I'm wondering if that's because he does have some, powers, or it's just for some reason some of it stayed on to him from Mob, and now that's why he can see stuff like Dimple, but he's still not super strong. But it's interesting factor to put in and have him in a more bigger role in if there's another season, obviously, because before it was literally him just being stupid, trying to do his business and everything, and it's not like he can really come to help Mob since he never really could see any of the spirits, but now he actually can. So it should be interesting to see like something big happens and he gets super scared. I mean, he got scared before countless times, but it's only because he can feel the pressure kind of thing, feel it, what's going on, and Mob telling him, but now he can actually see him. So that should be pretty interesting if there is a second season. I keep saying that because it was not announced that there's a second season yet, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be. One Punch Man literally just recently got announcement that there was going to be a second season for that, so hopefully that also means that Mob Psycho 100 will get a second season. Maybe might take a while later on in the future, but I think there's going to be one. This anime, from what I saw in the forums and saw from all you guys and from how I felt about it, I honestly thought this was a really good anime, and literally I think it deserves a second season, and I would love to see a second season. But yeah, pretty much everyone gets their, Mob doing his daily routines back again. Ritsu and the, class president or whatever, ends up going to apologize to, I literally forget his name, Onigawa, I think, and ends up everything's okay with that, and Teru at the end is also bringing in the rest of those, psychic kids and going to be training them in case Claw comes back. So that should be interesting as well, like literally seeing more, espers and everything, more of them getting stronger, building a group to fight against Claw should be pretty damn crazy. I would definitely enjoy seeing that. Another thing is, where did those the 7th Division members of Claw end up going? The sword guy, the multiply guy, and the guy who kept, spirits and everything. They literally are still strong. Are they just going to go back into society thanks to, the words of their Lord and Savior, Reagan? Is that what's going to happen here? I'm not too sure. I could definitely see that happening, but maybe them coming back later in the future and helping them to go against Claude would be pretty cool as well, because they are still really strong. It's just that Mob is on another level, and Reagan got his powers from Mob, obviously. But yeah, the whole episode ends kind of weirdly though, in like an OVA kind of setting, like, or just like a regular slice of life back in the beginning episodes, but Mob and Reagan going to try and find this creature, and they end up finding it. He ends up not thinking that's not it when it is, and he gets mushrooms, and they go home, and that was the end of the episode. It was really weirdly placed. Like, I feel like after the talk with Sho and his father, it would have been a great place to end, but they wanted to add a little bit more. And I mean, it was funny, and like, what the hell's going on? But it just felt weirdly placed in my opinion. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Overall, how did I feel about the season? What did I give my review on it? I would definitely say like a high 7.8 to 8. Literally, that's how good it is. I really enjoyed this anime. At first, it was more of just a comedic factor in my eyes. It was more comedic factor with slice of life elements to it, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't like really just like, whoa, this is amazing. But as the story really came in, we got, after all the character introductions, after all the showing everything else, their development and stuff, we finally get into the main plot and story with Claw and everything, and it got really interesting, and I actually enjoyed learning more about certain characters. At first it was just all about Mob. I now enjoy and really like Reagan. I like Teruki as well. Ritsu shows that he can get better and stronger as well, and I think it would be pretty cool to see that. And of course there's new villains like Sho and the boss of Claw coming on into at the very end. It honestly, I would love to see a second season. I definitely enjoyed this first season. Like I said, at first I was kind of iffy on it, but it was more of everything was being introduced. It was still pretty funny, but when it got to the main story plot that we came in towards the end, I honestly thought this was like literally one of my favorite animes of this season. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And as always, anime watchers, how did you feel about this? How did you feel about this episode? How do you feel about the season overall? Any thoughts on anything? People who have read the source material of this, how did you feel about this? Did you enjoy the adaptation? Did you enjoy what's going on? Are you excited or anything for if a potential second season comes? And any of your thoughts, whatever you guys want to talk about. It's always interesting to see what you guys thought about this as well. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like if you haven't already. Feel free to subscribe for more content. And yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So till next time, see ya.